Um, Let me just start from the beginning and get an introduction. First of all, I just want to thank God. I'm listening to what you might call perps. They're using the V2K. V2K has been utilized on me. I'm a target individual, and as a TI, we have this program implemented onto us that is meant to develop a technology, right? And the government is running this program, and they contract these people who are, I mean, the perps are the people who are supposed to get you to accept these disturbing things. And with me, the perps I'm around are people who wanted to create this fantasy and psyop, but the level of how stupid they have to make themselves be in order to make me accept this stupidity is crazy. And they really rely on things they say is going to happen to me in regard of torture. And I'm listening to this person, and she's trying to be agitating while saying some foul things in order for me to be subscriptive of these retardations. I've seen some of these people involved. Like when I say that when it passes by me, I feel like just the wind passing by. It feels like they're nothing. But I know these people are the people who, day in and day out, as they try to box in these retardations of thoughts that this technology can implement and force you to experience. But when you see them, it's like, I'd rather die and starve in the streets, sit somewhere and let myself go, than having to have lived a life where the things that you say, the things you're involved in, is what you're involved in. I know they're not by themselves. Obviously, these people are cowards. They're not people who can do things on their own. They're not like darers. They are very much people who follow the structure. And so I heard this trash literally me saying, I'm going to be feasted. And I'm like, I'd rather get feasted. I'd rather rot than having to have done and do the things that you do in order to box in the retardations. This is another memory manipulation story. And this is the things they're manipulating. These people, obviously, are contracted by the governmental entities in the Department of Defense and entities like DARPA, where the reality of what's happening there in those agencies are kind of scary in the sense that there's a lot of problem with pedophilia. And hearing these perps try to make me accept these falsified memories. As I'm saying that, she's telling me how I'm going to be poor now. She's going to be doing everything to do everything possible to diverge from reality, because I'm going to say why this person would, I don't know where, tell me how I'm going to be feasted. And I'm sorry for the graphic things that I'm saying, but that's the things they say in order to kind of make me accept these retardations. I'm just, first of all, like I said, thank you, God. Before I start praying for strength and to deal with the horrible things they say that I'm going to experience, I just want to say thank you. That a life, that this cowardly, nasty life that these people live is not a life I lived. I know every time I say things and it happens to be like very much on point of what I'm saying, they're like surprised. They think I'm a prophet or something, because I've said the most obvious things. And I'm hearing this trash tell me how cruel they're gonna be, but they cowardly as. I wouldn't be surprised if this person talking to me tomorrow, 3 days from now, something happens to her. Right? That's how pathetic they are. But the memory manipulation I'm experiencing has been crazy. Because today, what's happening is they force me to get stimulations. They force me to get all kinds of nasty things that naturally I would not experience toward children. So what they're doing is they're going back in my memories of me before August 19, 2019. That's the day things changed in regard of how I perceive, think, react, and my memories. And they go into my memories and changing how things happen and how I reacted in regard of when I saw a child, when I was around a child, giving me the stimulations, the reaction that these trash pedophiles that they are making me experience today. There's two moments I'm going to bring up in the title. I'll make sure that this title reflects that. I remember when I was with my coworker, first time I was with a coworker. Now, I don't know if that, first of all, let me just say, I know the people who put me in this program are employers of mine. Now, I don't know if that specific moment happened because they like try to do this, like try to slander me already or something like that. I don't know. I gotta be careful to not always find correlation when there's no correlation. But I can only express what I experience, and the rest it will be speculative. I don't know that. But I remember it was the summer of 2014. There's some coworker. She wanted to meet some of her another coworkers, and the other coworker had like a little baby, little girl, like a 4 or 5 year old baby, and I'm sitting next to my coworker, and she's sitting in front of this woman who works with us and her baby. And by the way, as I'm saying that, somebody tells me I'm gonna be fisted because they want to box in this falsified memory. I always bring that up because I want to make sure that to make it sound like to show how what they try to do. They try to box in this falsified version of memories. So, and I remember this little baby. So this little girl, she was like facing me, and they give me stimulations to implement that in my memories. And the coworker I came with was right next to me, and she was facing the mother. And I remember the kid was kind of bored. We were talking. I look at the kid, and I'm like, I do this like face, ooh, and she starts smiling. She's like laughing. And obviously, as I was trying to get like the kid to kind of like, she was bored, so I was trying to do something kind of like to make her like laugh or something. You gotta understand the way they have to change versions. Now they give me stimulations. I don't even want to do like, because when you do the face, you do the with and so they are changing that into a different sensation stimulations. But then they try to go into like something where I don't know if it's true or not. There's speculations that I don't care, because as long as I know that the way I reacted is not the way they're making me think. I think that I reacted in my memories, or manipulate my memories to make me experience this falsified memory, trying to make me believe that this reaction is true, is falsified. They're trying to say that you see all along they knew, because these are the people who put me in this program. It's like, listen, at this point I don't know if it's true in regard of if they were already putting me in this program at that point, but they're the same people who put me in the program where they're going to do the perfect type of torture. And one thing is understanding is like, I was working for entities that sold industrial supplies. When they put you in a program, there's one very systematic things they do. It start off with some slander stuff happening. Then they start, slandering you, and then that's when the gang stalking starts. And then after the gang stalking starts, the manipulations with V2K start. At least that's how it started with me. But a lot of similar stories are happening. They do the slandering stuff, which is pedophilia-centric also. So is that possible that at that moment they were already doing that? Maybe. I don't care about that. Now, what I care about is how they manipulate my memory of how I experience this moment to change it with stimulations. It's disgusting. Another time, which for sure at that point I was already a target individual, I was already dealing with a lot of things. I was, I knew something was completely wrong. It was toward the end of my time of when I was working at this employer. I go to this wedding with my ex-girlfriend at the time. She was a perp, and I remember seeing the bride, and she was like, when we say hi, she was holding this like 7-year-old girl, and of course they're gonna change the memory of that. But I'm like, immediately when I see her, she's holding her. I was like, hey. The bride introduced herself. Oh, this is my niece or whatever. And it's like, hey, high five. As she high fived me, and this stimulated me just because I said niece. It's disturbing. She high fives and she starts smiling. She has five, and the bride is like, oh, you see, oh, he knows already. You see, he knows. At that point, I know now. Looking back, it's like, okay, they're already doing the slandering at that point, and you see how disturbing it is, because she was trying to say, because I did this high five to this kid. Just because I know that, I know, like, that's what kids do, if you do high five, they like to high five, like, she was so excited to high five. It was like, hey, high five. It's like, yeah, she's having high five. They're like, you see, like, and I didn't get it, like, at the time. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not understanding what she's trying to say. But she's like, oh, you see, he knows. So I'm like, oh, okay, he knows that kids like to have fives. Right? And so now, of course, they are trying to change my perceptions of how it happened in at that moment, right? In regard of how I reacted. But what they're doing is trying to change how I reacted, or my perceptions, or my adding sensations during that time, because nothing, I didn't get the stimulation they make me have today, but they're changing that, and they're making me experience nasty stimulations in my memory. It's giving me some kind of sensation, give me something that I'm experiencing today, to be like, oh, we matched. It's like, no, you're falsifying my memory once again, which is something you're going to continuously do. But this is something they tried before, because this is not too long ago. They tried to do that before, but because my brain was not as fried as it is now, they couldn't do it as well. Now it's getting worse and worse. And it's like, now they're like, you see the news, like, no, I was being slandered already. Because I know that's the first stage, slanders. And you see how obvious this person was trying to make it seem like something was off, because I have 5, this kid. It's like, oh, you see, he knows, huh? He knows. Like, what? I just had 5. So I understand the slanders, and she knew I was already definitely, for sure at that time, for sure I was a target individual, for sure. And I understand the slanders were already happening, because that was especially toward the end. I was like, I think it was like 2017-ish or 2018. 2018, in my brain they tried to bring some things, 2018 or so. And that's the things they do. And it's trying to find ways to kind of falsify memories in this level. And right now they try to go back and try to make me think of some ex-girlfriend I used to go with, and I remember seeing her sister who was like taller than her. I was like, oh wow, that will have, like, she's now taller than, like, anyways, try to change the version of reality. Can you imagine if they do that to little babies? So imagine like older kids or late teens or whatever, how they can change that too. But this is just to show how extreme this nastiness is. And then the others, and the way they were trying to like make me subscribe of all this, because they're falsifying these obvious things with these babies, little babies, like 7-year-old kid, little 4 or 5-year-old kid, where they're making me have a new version of stimulations, or get a reaction that I wasn't getting at the time. They then try to bring up whatever they can. Oh, but you followed this person in 2014 thinking she was an adult. It's somebody who, when I was like 27, 26, thought she was an adult because she looked way older than her age. And I followed her on Snapchat, never knew who she was. I was like, they see that proof. They were there. They knew. I was like, dude, I have a picture of this person. She looked like she's in her 20s. That's why I follow her. So they knew that I followed somebody who looked like an adult. And then they tried to find ways. Oh, but the sister of this person, that she was like, what? I was... They try to find whatever, because what's happening is, as they falsify these obvious memories of these babies, that you have 5, you see, you felt that, now they not feel these things, you are making me experience this falsified reality. This documentary I was talking about, they falsified that. Me with this woman and her child and whatever, and me do the, and now try to change it. Oh, you got stimulations, like, it's falsified. So they try to find whatever. They are here falsifying things throughout everything. So they're like, oh no, but you follow this person. Just like, yeah, I follow somebody on Snapchat thinking she was an adult. Never even interacted with her. They see how they try to find ways to kind of put you in the loop of just accepting what you're experiencing today. And the sister of this ex-girlfriend, I was just, oh my gosh, like, this person, she's taller. Like, you know, when you haven't seen somebody for a long time, you see her as a little kid, and all of a sudden she's like taller than the person that you used to be with. And it's like, what? And you start looking at her, it's like, okay, whatever. It's like, oh, wow, that's how she is now. She's grown up. Like, it's not like, oh my gosh, no interest at all. Zero. Just curious about how her life is, since I remember her being a baby, and now she's like taller and I think about to be an adult, or if it was at some point, and bigger than the girl you're dating in size. I'm like, well, of course. It's like, now you see, you're trash, delusional trash. They can't even speak about a pedophile that'll pick up kids. Well, they try to manipulate things around to make you be subscriptive of things. It is so sad. But that is something else. The pure manipulations of these babies, not even the manipulation of how they make me react of when I was having half 5 with this 7-year-old. Or when I was doing this to this little girl, and she's like, oh, she's smiling. She was sitting next to me, her mother was there, and to try to create like sensations, to try to turn into the disgusting thing I'm experiencing today. That's the things I deal with 24/7. 24/7. And like, no, we proved this. Like, you proved you're just manipulating my memories. And then you try to find something that can try to make me subscribe. And they don't have nothing real. Just a bunch of manipulations. And the person I follow on Snapchat thinking she was an adult. When you should look at her picture, even I'm like, I can't even believe that she was not an adult in this picture. I follow somebody who looked like she was in her 20s. I was like shocked. She looked older now than before, but that's the things they do. It's just they're desperate to find something to make me subscriptive of the manipulation I'm experiencing today. And the most disgusting thing is they're trying to make me believe my employer, who sells industrial supplies, was doing this investigation on me, and they're like, oh, they knew, they mapped it. I was like, well, while today they can't even speak about a pedophile that picked up kids as young as 14 years old because my employer donated money to them, to this pedophile. Do you understand? So if I get fisted and tortured and cut in pieces, I'm okay with that. Then having to live this disturbing life where they manipulate all kind of nastiness, even this having half 5 kids, a 7-year-old kid, and you see the the person involved in the targeting, which I didn't know. It was like, oh, you see, he knows because you have 5s. It's like, I'd rather die like this. Pedos like you guys try to find something to make me subscriptive of these things. No, you guys do the pedophilia type of torture. They were slandering me before I knew what was going on. They were changing reality while they're creating false narrative before I even knew what was happening. And now you're looking for, but you follow this person on Snapchat. It's like, yeah, you know, the person I never interacted with, that I thought was an adult that looked like in her 20s. Oh, no, but the girlfriend, your ex-girlfriend's sister, it's like, you mean seeing her and being shocked that she's like taller and like close? I think at that point it was like right before she turned 18 or something like that. I think that's the first time I saw her. I was like, oh my gosh, she's what? And later on, I kept seeing more of her pictures because I think at that point she had like an Instagram, and I would see her. I was like, my gosh, that's what she's doing. It's like, oh, you see, this trash. You know how disturbing it is. I remember when I was with one of their perps, right? He saw a picture of her. You can see his eyes when he saw her. I think she was like a prom with some guy, and his eyes was like, oh wow. He was shocked about, like, he's looking at her like, oh wow, like interested in her. I was like, look at you retards. These people are delusional shit that have to manipulate reality. So I'd rather get fisted than being out here forcing some disturbing stimulation onto like babies as young as 4 or 5 year olds and try to implant that in the memories. And be like, oh, we mapped it. That's what you felt. And you hear this noise campaign because apparently that's supposed to make me subscribe to it. Death comes to all of us. I'd rather rat away like this than rat the way they're ratting. I'll never let them. I see this shit coming out of the apartment. Look at this. I should show one of them. You look at this shit. They just work all day, all night, try to find ways to make me subscribe to these nasty things. How much am I going to get fisted? I'd rather get fisted than having to live the life that you live. Able to do whatever you want, you're doing this shit. Now you are here trying to do whatever possible to brainwash me into accepting these nasty things. Never. My death, my fisting, my torture is not going to make your life better. You're going to be still the trash that's living over there. So to all my target individuals, stay strong.